This is the Makita DUN 500W, the brushless long reach hedge trimmer. It's something to try that's nice and light with some power, so I decided to buy this one. I think 18 volts a little bit, probably a little bit too low for big stuff, but we found out that it's just a great hedge trimmer to put through little light stuff. More topiary kind of hedges. I think that the 18 volt just seems to, I don't know, it just hasn't got that power to go through the bigger stuff. But in turn, it means you can run it off one single battery. So it's great for sort of trimming up topiary and buxus, and it will go through conifer. I'm about to show you, but it's just not. It just hasn't got the power and the grunt that the 36 volts and 56 volts have. The blade speed's great. The first blade speed is 2000, which is just unheard of. I don't know why that's even on there. I'm not sure. The second one is 3.6, and speed 3 is 4400, which is probably the fastest battery reciprocating hedge trimmer on the market. So having that high RPM just allows you to get a finer cut on certain bushes. As you all know, RPM for the win. On the control panel, 3 speed settings, 1, 2, 3, and you've also got this button here, it's the reverse button. So if you get anything clogged in the blades, you just press that button, spins backwards, and then goes a normal way, just to unblock anything. At first I didn't really see the point of that, but now I know why they put it in there. Because it's an 18 volt machine, sometimes it really struggles to finish off the cut that it's made on thicker stuff. So sometimes you'll find that you're cutting things and then the blade, like a piece of conifer, will get stuck in the blades. And so you have to press the button and get it to turn backwards. So now I understand why it's on there. If it was a 36 volt above machine, I don't think there'd be a need for that, because I think it would just have the power to push through it and be done with it. The weight is incredible. It literally weighs nothing because it's 18 volt. I know Makita make 36 volt machines, which require you to put in 2 of these batteries. Being 18 volt does have its pros, and it certainly does have its cons, but we've just gilded it up now so that if we've got any light stuff to trim, we get out the Makita, or we save our other branded battery tools for the bigger stuff. Got a brushless motor. It's really streamlined, this machine. It actually looks a lot like the Husky, but it's just literally half the weight. I wouldn't say half the power. It's not quite as powerful as Husqvarna, but the blade speed is far more superior. Plastic, it's not the best materials, but it will do. I mentioned rubber. I think rubber is a great material to have on garden machinery, especially when your hands get wet and you've got a lot of grip. Some of them just use like some treated plastic, but I don't really see the point of that. Sam will tell you about rubber.
Right?
Rubber.
We love rubber. So much better than just this cheap plastic.
Yeah.
Got rubber down here.
Rubber down here. Rubber down here.
Light as a feather, isn't it?
Light as a feather. Show them how light it is, Sam. Balance it on 2 fingers. Look at that. Yeah, right, let me show off. Right. Yeah, rubber. Great material. The head moves like all the others do. I don't know if I like this thing. Sam don't like this thing. I don't mind it, but
Just as a comparison, right? No rubber.
yeah,
We won't show you the branding, but no rubber.
you can move this forward and back. I'd like to see maybe a a bit more of a, I don't know why that doesn't just carry on so that you can get your hand in it. I don't like, it's like the steel ones, I don't like seeing this, I don't like seeing anything here where you can just put your fingers, when you're trying to do the blades like that, if you do that and you come off it and you scratch yourself, you're going to cut yourself really hard. So I don't see why it hasn't got just a connection from there to there, so you just pull on it and be protected when you change the angle of the heads. Maybe that's just being a bit picky. It's really, really nice. I don't think it's intended to be a brute to go through really, really, really big hedges. It's definitely more of a light topiary hedge trimmer. I mean, the motor's, you know, look at the size of the motor. Brushless, but yeah, it's got its place. Definitely got its place, and it's definitely got its place with us. We're fortunate enough to be able to invest in different battery equipment. Husqvarna are our main brand. We've now got Ego tools for the mowers and the blowers. They're Ace, and we've got a Makita Hedgetrimmer just simply for the light stuff, as it's just so lightweight. So yeah, I think it's about 200 and something pound, 220 I think, and the batteries are well cheap. I mean, the good thing about this battery, you can take that out and go screw up a screw. You know, I mean, a lot of DIY gardeners, etc., will probably already have some form of Makita battery. So you're halfway there, really. Yeah, I'll give this head a trim. I've got my headphones in as well, so you can hear what kind of noise it lets out. 'Cause I put this on 2,000 RPM now, just to show you. I just don't see the point of that. It's almost like using a still. It's just too low. 3.6 is adequate. $4,400 is perfect. Yeah, overall, we've been pretty happy with it. Pros and cons. Cons. 18 volt. I just think sometimes the 18 volt struggles a little bit. You really, when you buy a hedge trimmer, you want it to be able to cover little stuff and thick stuff. you don't want to have to buy 2 hedge trimmers to use on 2 different applications. So I personally think that 18 volt may be a little bit too shallow. Other than that, there's not much bad stuff to say about it really. Actually, one thing, which is probably a safety precaution, I'm going to try to get this in the camera if I can. See where it needs to be. When you turn it, so for instance the machine's off. Try to get that to refocus. When you turn it on and fire it up, if you let go of that safety trigger for 2 seconds, the whole machine switches off. So to show that again, on, off. It goes off really, really fast. I think it's like a 2-second shut off. So I suppose there are ways you can sort of cable tie that down, but I just think maybe, obviously from Makita's point of view, as soon as you let go of the machine, you finish with it. But we all know that when you're hedge trimming, you let go, just have a little look at the hedge before you then start hedge trimming again. And I just think that 1.5 seconds is way too short of a period of time for that to cut off. Bearing in mind the Huskies is 1.5 minutes. So you've got, I don't know, you've got 90 seconds versus 1 second. Other than that, not many more cons. This is a little bit weak. That slider, I can see that breaking, hopefully not. But yeah, I can probably see that breaking. It gets hot quite a lot as well. I mean, I've only been using it about 20 minutes and that's already built up quite a temperature. There's not a lot of room for grease in that box. I don't know how good that gearbox is. I've opened it, I don't know how secure it is, the metals, but time will tell. Pros, 18 volt. It's awkward. 18 volt being light. Once again, you shouldn't really have to buy 3 different battery hedges to use on 3 different applications. The only reason I like that 18 volt is the fact that you can just put 1 single battery in it. Which, I mean, that lasts for quite a while. It's a 5 amp. I know they do a 6 amp now on Makita. Another pro is the RPM. I think Makita have been really smart about this. The reason why they've got an 18 volt machine is because they've got such a high RPM. I also found it with the Husky. Even if the blades are really blunt, you can still manage to get through quite a lot of stuff because it's got such a high RPM. And the same with this really. RPM, points mean prizes, and RPM gets you a lot of points in my book. Yeah. So we bought it and we've not been disappointed. So it's just my few weeks review of the Makita. It doesn't take you long to, you know, if you've been doing this for quite a few years, it doesn't take you long to realise the pros and cons of machines instantly. You haven't really got to go through a full season. You can tell straight away if it's going to work or not on conifers and hedge trimmers and different sorts of foliage. But yeah, can't make it too long. Thanks for watching.